What hidden truths lie beneath the turbulent waters of Malcolm X's life? A life marred by racial tempests and personal storms. There was the truth about Malcolm X and the Black community, which was one of the hidden parts of history. So let's try to understand every aspect of Malcolm's life. Malcolm X's life journey is a tapestry woven with struggle, transformation, and resilience. Born as Malcolm Little in 1925, he was immersed in a world of racial hostility from the start. His parents, advocates of Black pride and self-reliance, faced threats from white supremacists due to their association with Marcus Garvey's teachings. The family's nomadic life, moving from Omaha to Lansing, Michigan, and various other places, was marked by hardships and violence. Malcolm's father's death, under suspicious circumstances, possibly at the hands of white supremacists, left an indelible mark on his worldview. Despite his early life of turmoil, Malcolm's journey took a pivotal turn during his time behind bars. Serving 6.5 years in prison, he immersed himself in education, devouring books on history and philosophy. This period of self-discovery fueled his intellect and awakened his consciousness about the systemic racism that plagued society. It was during this time that he encountered the teachings of Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam, igniting a path towards activism and leadership. Malcolm X's affiliation with the Nation of Islam was a defining chapter in his life. As a minister, he passionately advocated for Black empowerment and self-defense. He rejected his slave name and embraced X as a symbol of his rejection of white-imposed identity. With fervent oratory skills, he became a prominent figure in the Nation of Islam, amplifying the message of Black self-reliance and challenging the status quo. His charisma and fiery speeches attracted thousands of followers, reshaping the landscape of the Black community. Malcolm X's perspective on the struggle for civil rights diverged from the mainstream nonviolent approach advocated by Martin Luther King. Jr., he criticized civil rights leaders whom he deemed too accommodating to white America. Malcolm's belief in strict racial separation and his assertion that integration was unattainable stirred controversy within the movement. His skepticism about the possibility of harmony between races gave rise to the idea of Black nationalism as a means of achieving true empowerment. But do you know about Malcolm X's role in the civil rights movement and his changing views? He played a major role in the welfare of humanity. But how? Do you want to know? Don't worry. In the next few minutes, we are going to reveal it. Just be with us till the end of the video. Malcolm X's influence on the civil rights movement cannot be understated. While leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. advocated for nonviolent protest, Malcolm's fiery rhetoric and calls for self-defense resonated with those who believed in a more assertive approach. His speeches and activism attracted a diverse following, including celebrities like Muhammad Ali. Malcolm's charisma drew attention to the issues faced by the Black community, forcing society to confront uncomfortable truths about systemic racism and inequality. However, Malcolm X's views were not static. After making a religious pilgrimage to Mecca in 1964, he experienced a transformation. The experience shattered his belief in the inherent evil of all white people, as he encountered a more inclusive form of Islam that embraced people of all races. This epiphany prompted Malcolm to reconsider his stance on racial separation and his previously antagonistic approach to white Americans. As he distanced himself from the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X founded the Organization of Afro-American Unity in 1964. This new organization aimed to unite all Black Americans, regardless of their religious beliefs, under a common banner of justice and equality. His shift towards a more inclusive ideology marked a critical turning point in his legacy. Malcolm X's evolving views also led to tensions within the civil rights movement. While he remained critical of mainstream leaders, his willingness to collaborate with other activists began to grow. He recognized that the fight for civil rights required unity among different factions within the Black community. This willingness to engage with diverse perspectives demonstrated his commitment to finding common ground in pursuit of a shared goal. A departure from the Nation of Islam and tragic end. Malcolm X's departure from the Nation of Islam was not without controversy. His growing disillusionment with the organization's leader Elijah Muhammad stemmed from the revelation that Muhammad had fathered several illegitimate children, contradicting the very teachings he espoused. Malcolm's public criticism of Muhammad's infidelities strained their relationship further, leading to his suspension from the Nation of Islam in late 1963. This suspension marked a turning point in Malcolm's journey. He had already been reassessing his beliefs and challenging some of the Nation of Islam's teachings. His experiences in Mecca had opened his eyes to a more inclusive and diverse form of Islam, and he began to distance himself from the divisive rhetoric he had once embraced. In February 1964, Malcolm formally announced his split from the Nation of Islam and his conversion to traditional Islam. He adopted the name El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, signifying his spiritual journey and newfound identity. This transformation represented not just a change in name, but a broader shift in his ideology, one that rejected racial separation and embraced a more humanistic approach to fighting oppression. As Malcolm continued to advocate for justice and equality, his influence remained strong. He critiqued Muhammad's leadership and his version of Islam, exposing what he saw as hypocrisy. In response, the Nation of Islam took retaliatory measures, including a firebomb attack on Malcolm's home in February 1965. These actions underscored the escalating tensions between Malcolm and his former associates. Tragically, on February 21, 1965, Malcolm X was assassinated during an Organization of Afro-American Unity rally in the Audubon Ballroom in New York City. 3 gunmen shot him multiple times, cutting short his remarkable journey of transformation and advocacy. While some speculated that Nation of Islam members were involved, the details of the assassination remain controversial, with no consensus on the identities of the killers, legacy, and unresolved questions. Malcolm X's enduring legacy extends beyond his contributions to the civil rights movement. His life story is a compelling narrative of resilience, evolution, and activism that continues to captivate and inspire people around the world. Despite facing adversity from an early age, Malcolm X's journey through tumultuous times reflects the challenges and injustices experienced by the Black community in America. The uncertainty surrounding his father's death, possibly at the hands of white supremacists, serves as a haunting reminder of the systemic racism and violence that plague the lives of many Black families. The threats faced by his parents, and in their constant need to uproot their lives, underscore the deeply rooted bigotry that Malcolm X would later dedicate himself to challenging. As a youth, Malcolm's constant movement from place to place paints a picture of instability and upheaval. His family's dislocation from one city to another, coupled with his mother's mental health struggles, contributed to a sense of displacement and uncertainty. The racial bias he encountered in his schooling further reinforced the pervasive discrimination that would fuel his later activism. His years of incarceration were marked by transformation and self-discovery. Imprisonment provided Malcolm X with the opportunity to educate himself, leading him down a path of intellectual enlightenment. His voracious reading and deep engagement with history cultivated a new perspective on race and oppression. His eventual conversion to the Nation of Islam demonstrated the power of faith and ideology in guiding one's journey from hardship to advocacy. With his emergence as a prominent figure in the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X played a pivotal role in its rise to popularity. His influence extended beyond the pulpit as he launched newspapers, engaged in public debates, and sought out new converts. The growth of the Nation of Islam under his leadership underscored the appeal of his message of self-reliance and Black empowerment. Malcolm X's vocal opposition to integration reflected a deeper skepticism about the willingness of white America to grant true equality to Black individuals. His assertion that mainstream civil rights leaders were Uncle Toms highlighted his belief in the urgency of confronting systemic racism directly. However, his transformation after his pilgrimage to Mecca demonstrated the potential for personal growth and a broader understanding of unity and humanity. The bitter break with Elijah Muhammad marked a turning point in Malcolm X's journey. His willingness to critique his mentor's actions showcased his commitment to principles over loyalty. The subsequent retaliation and threats against him revealed the dangers of challenging established power structures. Throughout his life, Malcolm X was closely monitored by the FBI. His advocacy for racial justice and equality drew the attention of law enforcement agencies, resulting in years of surveillance. We hope you liked the video. Tell us in the comments, what did you learn from the life of this hero? And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.